It's Wednesday, March 26, 2025. A lot to talk about today. We're waiting right now for the president to speak on these auto tariffs. I was hoping that he would have already come out so we could talk about that. So talk about it tomorrow, I guess. But we'll see what that does with the markets. We'll see what he's going to do with these auto tariffs and when he is planning on implementing these auto tariffs. But right now, a few things I want to talk about is the system that we are watching collapse right before our very eyes right now. And this has been all over the news yesterday. Somebody sent this to me yesterday, and it's all over social media. It's all over the Southern California news stations. RV storage lot taken over by squatters, damaging more than 50 campers in City of Industry. Anybody that does not see the system collapsing right in front of their very eyes right now is very, very blind. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we never saw tent cities. We never even knew what the term squatter was. There was no chance of a squatter coming into your house and taking over your house. And now we have squatters going into RV storage facilities and now taking over the facility, living in all these campers. Watching this, these RVs have been destroyed. They've been lit on fire. There's people living in them. There is a car dealership right across the street, and they park cars right next to this RV lot, and they're watching the fires. They're watching all these squatters, and they fear for their own safety. And how in the world is this even allowed to happen in a first world country where squatters can now just go onto a property and move into these RVs? Black Series RVs, that's the brand. These have been parked in this lot for around 2 years and now have been destroyed by fire and just damage and people living in them, and it just looks like a big junkyard at this point. And this is what's happening, at least here in California and many other parts of the country. But this is the lawlessness. This is a collapse, a societal collapse happening right before our very eyes, where people can just do whatever they want to do. And if you have a business, you know, across the street, it doesn't really matter. How would you like to go buy a car at this car dealership and have to look at this right across the street? Fires every day. They said there's a fire there. There is a fire every day, every evening, because these people need to stay warm, so they're burning the campers. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Trump to announce new auto tariffs Wednesday. We haven't heard anything yet. Markets did not like the sound of this. Dow down 132, NASDAQ down 372. If he says the wrong things this evening, watch out for a very, very rough day in these markets tomorrow. Over 9 million student loan borrowers past due after bills restarted Fed estimates. This on CNBC today. The health crisis era payment pause has expired, and now it is time to pay up. If you borrowed the money, you signed on the dotted line, you got to pay. Now, what is this going to do? FICO drops. These people now, because they're not paying their bills, could see their FICO scores drop as much as 100 and maybe even more than 150 points. And what does that mean? People go, who cares? It means that you can't go buy a car. You're not going to be able to rent an apartment. You won't be able to buy a house. It is literally game over because your credit is going to be destroyed. So we're talking over 9 million people delinquent, not making these payments, whose credit scores are going to get absolutely annihilated. So that's a large chunk of people who aren't going to be buying houses now or cars, and this is going to continue to put a big dent in the economy. And I don't think these people quite understand. Maybe they just haven't lived in the real world long enough. They don't understand why you better have a good credit score, or if you don't have a good credit score, you better have a lot of cash so you don't need one. And if you can't pay your college tuition debt, you probably don't have a lot of cash. Treasury Department is set to lay off a substantial number of employees, official says. A lot of people about ready to lose their jobs here. at the Treasury Department. Many of these jobs are just going to be non-essential jobs that you, the taxpayer, continues to pay, and it's all coming to an end. And I hope that these people have a plan. I hope that they find another job, but they're going to have to compete now in the real world, not the government world, where you could literally do anything and never get fired. And so I don't know when we're going to begin to see these numbers in the labor force. It's hard to even imagine. What are they saying? Unemployment's around 4.2%, I think, somewhere around there. Do you really believe that number? How can we be losing this many jobs? Government jobs, corporate jobs, and of course they never talk about small businesses and medium businesses. It's always the large corporate jobs and government jobs. But how we're not seeing this in the labor force statistics right now, I don't understand. Small Business Administration to cut about 2,700 jobs as part of restructuring. This is on Fox Business. That's 43% of their workforce. They're going to return the numbers back to the pre-health crisis staffing levels. Again, going to be a lot of people out of work. Who's going to buy all of these homes that are on the market? Inventory is rising throughout the country. New home construction, highest inventory we have seen in a long, long time. Who's going to buy all of this property? Here's another one today coming from The Hedge. It's titled, "We've created a class of people who are effectively grifters. Rubino rages at U.S. government's big money laundering operation." John Rubino, he was on the Greg Hunter show, and they have the breakdown here in the article on The Hedge. Look, ladies and gentlemen, chaos isn't coming. Chaos is already here. I opened this video up talking about squatters invading a RV storage facility, now living in it. You've got Doge uncovering massive amounts of fraud, massive amounts of waste. You've got explosives now at Tesla dealerships, which have already been firebombed, cars that have been firebombed, mass deportations of very violent criminal gangs. This is all going on right now, right before our very eyes. Massive debt. What's our interest now on the debt? About $1.2 trillion. This is absolutely unacceptable, and it is not going to be able to continue much longer without things really beginning to break. We continue to find out more about all this money laundering that the government is doing through these agencies. We have a lot of people in many of these agencies, non-essential workers, who do nothing. They're grifters. We have a lot of people in this economy who are just grifters, doing absolutely nothing and getting a paycheck for it. And I don't know about you. I just really can't afford to continue to pay for grifters and people who are non-essential. If you do a job, it should have some type of meaning. It should produce something. It should manufacture something. We have millions of people doing things that really, unfortunately, are worthless, and we're paying them to do it. Rubino goes on to say, everybody who runs the number says gold should be $10,000. I think that gold has a long way to go. I think silver is going to go along for the ride without a doubt. When you have this much uncertainty, this much chaos, this much violence, and literally you're seeing a civil war in Washington, in my opinion, this massive war that's going on between the two sides. The wars that are erupting in the Middle East, the wars that continue in Ukraine, it's a matter of time before something big erupts right here on U.S. soil. The economy's in bad shape. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Yes, gold should probably be at least $10,000 right now. And I think something will break to where they're just not going to be able to control and manipulate it like they have done for so long. And it's going to continue going up and going up. So make sure you're protecting yourself. Don't just protect yourself with things on a screen or fiat monopoly money. Make sure you have something real. I think gold and silver are extremely important right now. Something that you can get to. If you need help with that, go to my link down below, SD Bullion, and they will take very, very good care of you. But I don't think there's ever been a time, I continue to say this because things continue to get more chaotic and more uncertain, and the more they do, the more you better have real money. And not just paper money, ladies and gentlemen, the real thing, gold and silver. Social Security conducting major records cleanup, making 7 million listed aged 120 plus as deceased. Why are we paying people, and maybe we're not paying all of these people, but we're paying a large number of these people who are 120 years or older, 7 million people. They should be listed as deceased, not getting a check. Somebody's cashing those checks. Somebody's been cashing those checks for a long time. Do you think that anybody out there is 120 years old? Do you think these people really exist? Do you think that they're really eligible for a Social Security check? I don't. I don't think we should be sending checks out to people who don't exist. Who has a problem with that? Who thinks that that's uncalled for, that we shouldn't be going after the fraud? I think the only people who are upset with what is happening are the people who are connected to the fraud, who are getting the easy money. The gravy train is coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen, and the people who are angry, the people who are upset, the people who say, I hate this administration, I hate that person, these are the people. I hate Doge. These are the people who have been on the gravy train for a long time that you continue to pay for. And I think enough is enough. The gravy train must come to an end. And it says right here, the gravy train is over. HUD Secretary Scott Turner ends all taxpayer-funded housing for illegals. These programs were not meant for people from other countries. They were meant for Americans. And look, I have empathy, compassion for people all over the world, wherever they're from. I don't want to see people suffer anywhere. But I certainly, number one, don't want to see people suffer right here in the United States of America. And I don't know about you, I'm really sick and tired for paying for people from all over the world when we have vets on the streets, we got homeless people on the streets, we got a drug epidemic on the streets of America, we got a crime epidemic, we got people who are scared to walk out of their houses, we got a mental illness crisis in America. Where people are wandering the streets that should be in an institution. They don't know what's going on. They have no say-so. Somebody needs to look out for these people. They shouldn't be using sidewalks as a toilet. And when people can't think for themselves, when they have mental illness, this is the job of the government now to step in and make sure that these people are safe and that you're safe, not having to deal with these people on subway trains and on the sidewalk. We shouldn't have tent cities in Los Angeles or other cities across America. And we certainly don't need some type of plague breaking out of one of these cities because of the massive hygiene issues throughout our cities across America. We got rats everywhere. People are using the streets and sidewalks as toilets. This is so dangerous. So we're beginning to see that the gravy train come to an end. Again, these programs were not meant for other people. They were meant for Americans, and we need to start taking care of Americans. And again, empathy and compassion for everybody. But if we do not help America first, America will never be able to help anybody else. And it is just getting too costly to take care of the entire world. We need to start taking care of ourselves. And Americans should stop, having to take a back seat. So, I just wanted to express my thoughts on that. It's going to be interesting to see what the president comes out and says now about these auto tariffs and what's going to happen tonight in the futures market, what will transpire tomorrow. But just a few things I wanted to share with all of you today. Yesterday, a lot of people commented on the video. And, when you do leave the house, just think about how much money you spend if you go out to dinner, you go to the grocery store, you go get some tires, you take your dog to the vets. Every time you go out, it seems like it's $50 or $100. And everything continues to me, become more expensive. You're seeing less and less on sale. So we'll see how it all plays out. But anybody who doesn't see a collapsing system right now, I don't know where you live. What's interesting also is with the fires we had in Los Angeles, I'm hearing absolutely nothing about what's happening in Los Angeles with the cleanup, Altadena, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, absolutely nothing. And I've heard nothing about what's happening in North Carolina, all those people that were living in tents. It seems like nobody even reports this stuff now, out of sight, out of mind. But so much is going on. If you have some updates about what's happening in Los Angeles or North Carolina, please comment down below. Love to know. I need to call Patera Appalachian Homestead and catch up with her and James, see what's going on out there. We're going to be hopefully making our way back out up that way in the next few months. We'll be meeting up with some very, very special people, maybe some of you, so that would be really cool. But I'm going to leave it there today. Please like this video, share this video, comment down below on anything you want to talk about, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Be safe out there. God bless every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.